The most important trick you'll ever learn on defense in Madden 26 isn't a glitch blitz or even a coverage shuttle lockdown with. Instead, it's the best way to improve your user defender. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm giving you a step-by-step blueprint guide on how to improve your user defense in Madden 26 so that you can get easy baits like this every single play. I will warn you though, if you skip out any of the tips or tricks I'm breaking down today for user defense, it could be the reason your defense is still getting crushed, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. So let's jump right into it. The first thing you need to master with your user defender is actually the ability to stop the run, because if you can't stop the run, no one's going to pass the ball on you. Let me show you the best way to stop the run here in Madden 26. Alright, so we're going to come into nickel 3-3 cub, and we're going to have them call it just an inside zone run. So as far as stopping the run with your user, against inside runs, it's very easy, right? We're going to talk about inside zone and outside zone type of play calls. But really what we're going to see right here is all we have to do is stand 4 yards over the guard on the halfback side, just like this. Because what we're going to do is just loop around and then be able to basically gap shoot, dive tackle that ball carrier, shoot the gap, and be able to bring him down very easily. If we look at really what happens here on this instant replay, that's exactly what you're able to see, where I just loop around the offensive line and I'm able to cut out the legs of the ball carrier just like that. Really not that difficult, not that challenging, and so you're just going to see it time and time again. The most important thing though is where you're standing with your user. 4 yards over the guard, and you want to make sure that you're finding the gap, because that time it was really easy, it was wide open. Sometimes I might need to loop all the way around the line, like go even wider to actually get that ball carrier down. But bottom line here, when you're playing against inside zone runs, the most easiest and the most consistent run defense is just going to be making sure you're standing far enough back. The reason why you want to be far enough back is because you see how 77 right here, he gets up here, he's trying to block me, but he's just too slow. Like, he just can't move his feet the same. Too many of you guys think that you can just come down right here and stand basically in this gap and try to stop the run, when no, because now he's just going to block you and they're going to have an easy lane to run through. So when you're actually trying to stop the run against inside zone runs, you just make sure you need to stand 4 yards back, far enough back to where you're not going to get blocked by anyone, so that now when you take the snap, you can just run right through that gap and be able to tackle that guy. So inside runs like inside zone, halfback base, draw, 0-1 trap, those type of runs, that's going to be your best friend, actually shooting the gap to stop the run. But if they go to more of an outside zone run, which is something that, you know, too many of you guys struggle with, it's a little bit different about what you have to do with your user. So we're going to come to run outside zone right here. We'll just have them call, you know, wide zone. So really, you have to read the play. You have to kind of get a feel for which side they're running to, especially if the running back is behind the quarterback, because here in this case, they could go right or they could go left. So it's like you really have to be like a linebacker in football. You have to really read the play and then commit. Do not overcommit, because this is a run to the left. If I run out here, I completely just lost everything, and now I'm just going to give up an easy run over there on that left side. So it's going to be really important for you to actually come out here and just read the play. So boom, I see they're going to run this way, and now I have to make sure that I set the edge with my user. And what that means is do not let the ball carrier go all the way out to the edge, force him to cut back. But you all see right here how, I just really do a great job of finding the ball, finding work with my user, and then I'm able to come around and tackle this man in the backfield. So really, stopping the run with your user doesn't have to be that challenging, whether it's an inside run or an outside run. All you really need to do is find work with your user, find the gap that you need to run through, and then go about, you know, tackling this guy in the backfield just like that. Alright, the next thing that's really going to help you improve your user defense is actually understanding who you need to user on the field. Let me show you who that is. Alright, so what not enough of you guys understand here is I see too many players. I just was on a coaching session last week with a guy, and he said, you just user in the defensive line. So some of you guys user the D-line, some of you user the linebacker, and some of you user like a safety like this. And only one of you guys would be right here, right? So it's clearly not going to be the guy that's using the defensive line, because what's going to happen is you're going to get caught in your defensive line, and it's not like you can never shed. It's not like you can actually be effective. Like, you can still be effective with your D lineman, but the value that you're getting is not the same as if you're in pass coverage, because if you just let the computer rush the passer, he's really going to do a very similar job as your user. would do, especially when you consider the fact that you could be using a linebacker. Overall, the value that you're getting for that specific player, your user, is just not the same when you're using a defensive lineman, because if someone has identifier or they see you moving around in the D-line before the snap, all they really have to do is go ahead and call base protection and then double team, right? Go ahead, double team your defensive lineman just like this. And so now what's going to happen is we're going to take this snap, and you see how that nose tackle gets double teamed. Now, certainly could open up lanes for other guys, but now your user is completely obsolete. He's completely taken out of the play, and he doesn't matter at all, because you see how they just get up here, double team you, and it's going to be very hard for you to shed double team blocks even as a user. So the defensive lineman is absolutely not the guy that you want to user. Next, we have the next option, which is going to be the linebacker, which, spoiler alert, this is the guy that you want to use, or the reason why is because he's actually in coverage, right? So if they were to call, a route concept like this with 2 drag routes, right, you're actually going to be able to have some say-so in how this gets guarded, right? Now you're going to be able to lurk around, take away that drag, and do a great job in pass defense, which, again, you see you're still going to get that same type of pass rush. Eventually, your guys are still going to shed, but now you're actually able to take away their first read, which is this drag, take away this drag over here, and do a much better job in pass defense than if you just kind of let the computer do it, because the computer's an AI, it can just be manipulated really easily. So the linebacker is certainly the guy that you want to user. And then we have the safety, right? And the safety, he's also in coverage, just like the linebacker is. But the reason why you don't want to user him is because you can get hit with plays like this from an offense, right, where they have a crosser and a shriek, right, RB and A, right? Both of these routes are going to be important to this play, but what too many of you guys do when I see you user safeties is you guard this crosser because it could be open, but then you see how you give up that shriek right down the middle. So when you're using a safety, it's very easy for offensive players to just be able to manipulate your user and, attack holes in your defense. Yes, this crosser would be open if Harrison Smith isn't here, but, you need to guard the shriek. Right, so it's the reason why you don't want to use a safety is because if you just, again, user the linebacker, now you're going to have the safety user the shriek, and then you could just user the crosser with your linebacker. So again, boom, same route concept. But now I'm going to carry this crosser with my linebacker, and now you see how Harrison Smith is staying in the middle of the field to guard the shriek. So really when we're talking about who you want to user on the field, D lineman, absolutely not, never, right? Linebacker, yes. Safety, not really. Very rarely would you ever do this. It's very, very risky. I'm not saying it's as bad as a defensive lineman because you're still in coverage, but you just end up calling or playing against route concepts like this, and then you get confused and give up a big game. So bottom line here, you want to make sure that you're using your linebacker because it allows you to be in coverage and do the best job of, creating value for yourself as a user defender. Alright, so if you found this breakdown of actually how you're going to improve your user defender in Madden 26, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full defensive ebook to help you get better here at the end of the year going into Madden 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to grab it today by using code YouTube and joining Madden University. It has meta tips. It actually has the tips here featured in this video and that Cowboys ebook that are going to keep you sharp on defense for the rest of the summer, and again, have you ready going into Madden 27. So if you're serious about getting better, I highly recommend you check it out, and let's jump right back in the video. Because now I've shown you how to stop the run to force them to pass, and I've shown you who you want to user, but your next question is, BLT, how do I actually go about improving my user and knowing where to be? Let me show you. Alright, so next we're going to be talking about how you actually user correctly, alright? And this is perhaps the most important part of this video thus far, because we understand we need to stop the run, we need to be using a linebacker. But what we're going to see right here is what I see too many players do, is they get hit with a route concept like this, right? Where, yes, this crosser is going to be open, but so is this drag route. And so what you guys do, right, is you guys chase the drag. So boom, I see it, boom, drag. And now I give up that crossing route wide open across the field, and that's an easy completion when I could just stay patient with my user, follow the crossing route, right, take this away, and then just give up the drag, right? Because that's the reality, is you're not actually going to be able to guard every single thing on every single play, right? So again, for example, they call this is one of the best route concepts in the game, and you might have like a stock cover 3 defense on the field. Well, I mean, like, I'm going to have to guard something, and what I see too many of you guys do is, okay, boom, I see it, oh, I want to guard this return. Right? Why would you guard that return when that crossing route is going to get wide open as it's running across the field? So it's like, what I mean here is you need to make sure you're having what I call a disciplined user. You're reading the route concept, so that's really important. You have to first see what plays even on the field from the offense, and then you're deciding where you need to be with your user. And always err on the side of caution, right? For example, right here, really, he's open, and he's open. So it's like, here in this case, you can't really do right. You just have to take away the deepest threat and kind of force them to check the ball down and live to fight another down. This is a touchdown, right? They're going to catch this ball and probably walk in the end zone untouched. Whereas it's like, okay, if we call the same exact play, X on a streak, or I guess I will call it again next time. But if we call the same exact play, what you're just going to see right here is that if I just take away this crossing route, right? So I call it the same play, and now all I have to do, same defense, just take the crosser. Now they have to hit that return, or sometimes they'll miss their read because you take away their first read, which too many players think that the deep threat is the first read. So you'll take away this, crossing route read right here, and then they won't get to their next read. They won't get to this return route, which is a great dot, or they might miss this drag. So it's like always err on the side of caution with your user, right, and trying to make sure that you're going deep down the field to take away those deeper passes. Again, I see too many players just put too much focus on just taking away the first read, right? So I see like this all the time where they have an angle route and a crosser across the middle. So what you guys do is, boom, I see the running back jump out here, and now that's wide open. That's going to be one of the most frustrating parts about defense, because you're going to be giving up big gains time and time again without even knowing it. And the answer simply is just take this linebacker, follow the deepest threat, force them to actually throw this underneath, and then come up and make a tackle, whereas this is a huge gain or touchdown every single time. So really, that's how you're going to start to have a more disciplined user. Whatever the biggest problem route on the field is, after you read their route concept, you're going to try to get out there, take it away with the user, especially if it's running to an area that can actually attack the coverage that you're running. Alright, before I jump to those final 2 user defense tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss here in Madden 26, I wanted to remind you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. Subscribing is literally free, and we're going to be dropping even more crazy tips and tricks to help you guys get better when Madden 27 drops. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button today, and let's jump to those final 2 tips. Which that next one is going to be an extension of what I just showed you with how to use her correctly, because we're going to be adding level 2, the switch stick. Let me show you. Alright, so we're going to have them in a random pass play, because the next level that we're going to be talking about here is actually going to be the switch stick. Because the reality is, I just showed you an example where they're going to call a route concept like this that's going to do a great job of just attacking your defense, right? You have stock cover 3 on the field, right? You're either going to guard the crosser, or you're going to guard the drag or the backside dig. Like, one of those are going to be open. You can only take one of them away. This is going to be especially important when you're playing against really good passers and really high level players, because they're going to call plays that they can't just attack one area, they can attack every area. All right, and so really what the problem is going to get created is, like I just showed you earlier, where now they take the snap and you're kind of out of luck. Because if you guard the crosser, the drag's open. If you guard the drag, the crosser's open. But the switch stick is going to be what's going to kind of solve your problem here. So also the reality is you don't always know exactly what play they're calling. Most of the time you don't. So you need to be able to anticipate it and be ready to switch stick here. So what we're going to do, this is just cover 3 buzz from nickel D3 cub, safety depth on default, width on default as well. But I'm just reading their play. As soon as they snap the ball, I'm visualizing their play art, and then I'm just ready to switch when I need to. So I'm still going to apply the same principles as level or tip 3 in this video, where we're having a good user, right? We're taking away the deepest threat, but if we need to guard an area that, we can't guard with our user, we're going to be ready to switch stick. So, and what that looks like here is they're going to call a screen, so, really nothing to take away. Take away the deepest threat on that play, which was just a tight end crosser. We see it again right here, where it's like, okay, we see nothing really for us to guard, and that's going to be pretty good defense. So, it's to say that that's why I showed you guys tip 3 before I showed you tip 4, because you need to master having a good user before you master the switch stick, because one, they play off of each other, but not every play you need to switch stick. Every play you need to have a good user when they're passing the ball. Right, so boom, we're going to take it, defend up the seam, right, come down, take away those 2 drags, and so that's what I mean, where it's like sometimes they're going to attack multiple different areas, and it's going to be a good play call from them, but you're able to kind of cover your butt here in a lot of cases when you actually work on your switch stick. So again, bootleg here, we're going to come down, take this away, really great defense there, really great coverage. So it's like you see how there's holes when you're running zone coverage, especially, right, there's going to be holes in your defense, right, there's a hole right here if I don't come plug it, right, but I also need to be able to defend the seam. So it's really like, I see that this is a bootleg, I see that this guy's going to come across the field, so I'm ready. I, take it away here, they can't throw it here, and by the time they actually can throw Judy, I've already come down to take that away. So really, there's a reason why, again, I showed you level 3 before level 4, because you're going to have to get good with having a good user. Switch stick is not exactly the easiest thing, because again, you're flicking your right stick in the direction of the player that you want to switch onto to switch stick, but it's not always going to guarantee that you get onto the player that you want. So again, we go with it right here, we see a motion, so we might be expecting a flat route to the tight end, switch stick there, get onto him, now this is pretty good defense, come up, guard the post. So there's a lot of different areas that you're going to have to guard when you're running zone coverage to actually be able to play good defense. Boom, once you take this away, they get off this read, okay, they move back over here, but he's covered, right, and so again, boom, now they probably get onto their post. Right, but he's, again, going to be covered down here. So it's like, that's going to be the key, is just getting a good feel for the switch stick and, really developing it to still have a good user, but then be ready to switch stick when they attack more than one area on the field. But again, that's going to make your user defense that much better, add another layer to it. For pass defense, actually working on your switch stick. Alright, and that 5th and final trick that I want to break down that's going to improve your user defense here in Madden 26 is actually going to be user locking. It's going to allow you to get instant sacks on the quarterback, and not enough players know about it. Let me show you. Alright, so we're going to come into 4-3 even 6-1 here. Our play is going to be Sam blitz 3, and it really doesn't matter what play or what formation the offense calls. You can use this good user technique, in every, single situation, regardless of the play that they call. So here in this case, we're going to put our safety in a deep half, outside corner, cloud flat, just so that we're not giving up the seam. But what we're going to do, what I'm showing you here, is user locking. So we have this blitz, I can shift my defensive line to the right here, and essentially see how I have 3 defensive players on the side where they have 2 linemen. So we draw a line in at 55, the center, there's 3 guys against 2 offensive linemen. The problem that gets created, though, is even when we call this play, although we have more guys on one side, well, actually that time he still walked in free, but the reality is there's going to be times where even though we have more guys on one side, the center is going to slide over, right? So even if, maybe we were to drop one of these guys out, we have more guys on one side, but the center is just going to slide over and make it even, right? And so now the blitz gets picked up, more times than not. But what we can do is just get the attention of the center, to where we only have to send really 4 players. So we can drop this man into a vert hook, right, shift the defensive line to the right, so now this is only a 4-man rush, but I'm going to get in there with my user now and really, try to occupy the offensive line momentarily. So all we're going to do is, just stand right here. Make sure you're not offsides ever, but you're going to press D-pad up, right trigger, and left stick down. So first you're going to press the D-pad up. This is going to lock your user in place, and then you're holding right trigger and left stick down at the same time to basically get a head start, towards the ball. Right, so that now when you snap the ball, the center has to basically block you because you're an immediate threat right in his face. So what that's going to look like is, boom, we take the snap, and now I get the attention, and now I'm going to be able to get back into coverage as fast as possible by spamming A on Xbox, X on PlayStation. Most of the time, that's going to allow you to just walk in free off this edge, because think about it, if I get the attention of 55 the center, and now I'm actually able to play 3-on-2 like we did earlier, and then walk in free off the edge. The problem though that can get created when you're actually user locking is sometimes this will happen where the center refuses to block you and then will pass you off to the guard like he does here. If they have high awareness on their center, the higher awareness, the harder this is going to be. But it's like you're going to see it right here. This is a very smart center. I'm still going to be able to do it, but it's not going to be every single time. But it's like if you can do this correctly, you're able to get instant pressure from only a 4-man rush, especially if they actually, send their running back out and you catch them off guard. So this is a really high level technique that's going to be very effective for you because it's honestly pretty low risk because you're actually able to get back into coverage and use tip 3 and tip 4 that I showed you in this video, where then you're able to have a good user correctly and then switch stick off of that. But again, stand over the center, probably here in this case over his right shoulder, right over top of him, D-pad up, then right trigger, left stick down, take the snap, try to get the attention of the center, and now that's what's going to allow for us to get that instant pressure, get that easy sack right there, while again, as you see, I'm still able to take away their immediate threat and force them to, have to hold on to the ball. You just notice how, again, because 55 is distracted by me, he just lets 93 walk in completely untouched, and then I'm turning around to get right back here in coverage so that when they drop back, I'm just easily able to get an easy interception if they decide to throw it. So you can do this from a lot of different defenses in this game. The key, point here is you always want to make sure that you at least have one side overloaded. So you don't actually need to send 5, you only really need to send 4 here, but you have one side complete overloaded so that now when you get the attention of the center, you're able to create a unique advantage for you and then walk in the backfield untouched. So get the advantage, and that allows for that guy to come in free just like that. So user locking is going to be, the last really trick here, the most high level technique I've showed you in this video that really you can start to master and then be able to walk in the backfield completely untouched. Just like that. Alright, so if you found that breakdown helpful of how to improve your user defender here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have because it's only getting better over the summer and as we head into Madden 27. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button today. But if you're serious about improving your defense or your offense here in Madden 26, go to the link down below in the pinned comment, join Madden University, where you can get your first month for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. I have my Cowboys defensive ebook plus a bunch of updated meta tips that get updated all throughout the week, every single week on both sides of the ball to help you get better. And it's really the best way to transform your game late in the summer so that you can hit the ground running when Madden 27 drops. So I highly recommend you check it out, again, at the link down below in the pinned comment. And if you want to see what actually is included in Madden U, check out this short video where I break it down for you. I'll see you over there. Peace.